Welcome back, YouTubers. It's a 100-acre plantation. Just pulling up to the driveway now. Been down in the city for 4 weeks, and man, it's been a rough 4 weeks. Glad to be up here, but as you can see, the first snow has happened. It's actually snowed 3 times up here already. So the first thing we got to do is clear the end of this driveway and clear just past the gate so I can get the escape past the gate, and then I can lock it at night, and we'll keep the car right on the other side of the gate. And then we got to get into that cabin and fire up the stove, get that cabin warmed up. It's about 35 degrees right now, and tonight it'll probably be, I don't know, 15, 16 degrees. And I want to get everything cleaned up and get the cabin all warmed, and then get out in the woods by about 3:30. It's 1:30 right now. So I'm going to bust all this stuff out, and then I'll bring you guys back when we're set up in the cabin starting the fire up. Figured I should grab the shovel that's in the cabin. But those barrels were behind the cabin. I'm not sure why they're over there. I guess possibly it was windy enough. It kicked them over there. But there's the Halloween pumpkin. I was planning on only being gone for 2 weeks, but it's been 4. So that pumpkin's pretty much done. But it doesn't look like anybody popped the door here. So everything should be legit when we get in here. But I have a shovel that's a little bit better for moving snow than the one I keep in my truck. Beautiful. Oh, it's pitch dark in here, so you probably can't see anything. But it doesn't look like anything's been messed with. So I'm gonna grab this shovel and clean up the snow. Alrighty then. All cleared out. Over to the car. Plenty of room to get in and out. Once you start shoveling, it doesn't matter how cold it is out here, you warm up real quick. Got this down far enough, and I picked up some salt, like some ground salt or some road salt, and I'm gonna lay that right in the tracks where I'm gonna be pulling in and out, just to make sure the Escape is only a 2-wheel drive car, which is pretty ridiculous up here in the North Country. But I'm gonna lay down that salt and then go start up that stove and start warming the cabin up. Get some light in here. Wonder if this thing's working. Yep. Alright, let's get this fire started. Well, crap. I did leave a little bit of ash in here. So I should probably clean that up first. Alright, that should be good enough. Well, starting the fire should be pretty easy. I left a whole bunch of that knotty pine that we were using for the shed. I split it all up into kindling before I left. And left a big bucket here with a bunch of small logs, and then all the cardboard from the last couple projects that we had when we were ordering stuff online. Is right here. So take a couple pieces of this, a handful of this thing will start right up. It's always good form to leave everything in your cabin for someone to start a fire if they have to. Obviously you don't want people breaking into your cabin, but if it's an emergency situation and a hunter is lost or something out here, you know, if they come across the cabin and they're freezing their balls off, if they have to kick in the door, they have to kick in the door, you know. You're not gonna just go past the cabin. You know, I'm the only cabin for about 3 miles in that direction and 7 miles in that direction. So if you're an old man or something, you know, you probably have to stop and make a fire. It's always good just to be ready too and have enough wood put together. I have a tool that Mr. Wrangler Star from the Wrangler Star channel he was using on his channel. It's like a drill bit for your drill for making kindling. So we're gonna take a look at that later. But get a couple more pieces of this. A couple of thin pieces. And let's light this bad boy up. Alright, here we are. I mean, for all the guys who are obsessed with bushcrafting, yeah, I could prep this and start this with a ferro rod. I have one in my pocket. But I always keep a torch next to the wood stove because that's just the easiest. I mean, you want to make your stove lighting as easy as possible. So that's what we're going to use today. And got the bellow here. I'm out of breath already from shoveling, so if I need to blow on it, it's a lot easier with this tool. This is one of the best Amazon buys I've ever bought, this pocket bellow. The torch doesn't have a sparker on it anymore, so it doesn't spark. You just light it with a lighter or matches or whatever you got. But this stove has really good draft. So as soon as I get this cardboard going, I can just open the vent here and then close the stove, and this thing will get going quick. Although this cardboard isn't burning very well. I mean, that knotty pine with a torch, you can just light that and it will pretty much burn. But we want to get this cardboard going. I mean, that's basically enough. I don't know if you can see that. But you really just got to get it going a little bit, because as soon as you shut this door, the draft is so good on this chimney that we installed that thing will just get ripping. And I don't want to put too much stuff in it at the beginning. I made that mistake a couple times when I first put the stove in here. And even though it's freezing temperatures outside, if you have too much wood in this stove at the beginning, you're going to blow yourself out of this place. It's going to get so hot that you're going to have to keep the door open for a couple hours. So I usually just start with a pretty small pile of kindling and let that get going, and then I'll put some of those like kind of medium-sized pieces of alder. That alder too, it's kind of considered like a weed out here. Like, it's kind of like a crap tree that nobody likes on their property because it grows so fast, and it makes like a, I don't know, I compare it to a mangrove almost, because it's like so tight, it grows so tight together, and it puts off like 5 or 6 trees in each bunch. So if you have like an area that's getting covered in that, it's really hard to get through, and all the logging guys and all the guys who work in the woods just hate that stuff. But surprisingly, it burns really hot, and it grows back in 3 or 4 years. So you can cut all of it down off your property, and 3 or 4 years later it will be just as big. It's pretty crazy how fast it grows. So I process a lot of that up. I have big wood that we were cutting all year, but the old man down the road told me his grandfather used to burn just that. Once he got too weak to run a chainsaw or to work with an axe, he would just cut these elders because they're so small that you have to cut a lot of them to get a lot of wood, but they're really easy to cut, and they burn really hot. They burn almost as hot as oak. I was really surprised. But you see that? I don't know if you can hear it. Yeah, it's chugging. So you just have to barely start this stove, and then it will start chugging real hard. And I don't see any smoke leaking, so yeah, did a pretty good job installing this whole stove system. This place will be warm in no time. So I'm going to go get all my stuff from the car and bring it in. I just brought my backpack in. Smoke detector went off. Although it's not smoky in here. I mean, we lit this with pretty much no smoke today. But I haven't even put any more wood in it. It's just what we started the stove up with, and it's already getting too hot in here. Had to crack the windows. I don't know. We've only burnt this stove off 2 or 3 times now. I guess this is the 4th night that it'll have been burnt off. And I think that stovepipe there still has a little bit of, I don't know. You know, they paint these stovepipes, which I'm not sure why. I would think you would just leave them. I guess it's for vanity, but whatever burns off of these things doesn't smell very good. And the first couple days I burnt it really hot with all the windows and doors open. So I don't know, I'm not getting smoke. I can't see smoke coming off of the stack, but something keeps setting that smoke detector off. So I have to move it over here by the window until it's all warm in here, and until the smoke stops, or I don't know. Before bed, I'll put it back up there just to make sure I'm safe at night. And I have a CO2 monitor, or a carbon monoxide monitor, over by the bed, pretty much at bed level, a little bit higher than the bed. So yeah, got the sleeping bag out and everything over in the bedroom, and got to go get the cooler and a little bit of food and a few other things. And then that blue bin right there, we got to go out and get as much clean snow as we can skimmed off the top and fill that blue bin, and we'll set that bin by the fire, and hopefully that'll melt down, and we just keep on adding snow until that's full, and then we'll have some water that we can use for cooking and for cleaning dishes and go in the bathroom and stuff like that. Not drinking water. We brought drinking water. But that's the plan. All the other water's frozen. Even the brook was already frozen when I went by, which is crazy because it's November. It's like November 15th. It's been about exactly a month since I left here to go edit videos for Season 1 and Season 2. And you guys have already seen Season 1, and Season 2 will be posted as soon as I get back from this trip. Here's next week's Thanksgiving, so I'm going to go back down for Thanksgiving, and then probably come back up here for a bunch of December until the weather gets so bad I can't take it up here. I want to spend as much time as I can up here. See that little lip right there? Kind of dangerous to be under that. But that's the #1 reason why you want a metal roof. Oh, you can't even see any smoke coming out the stack. It's so hot in there. That's awesome. But in the next couple minutes, all that snow will fly off the roof. And that's why when you're this far up in the North Country, you really need a metal roof. You know, a metal roof will last a lot longer than architectural shingles. But also, as soon as you if you keep it warm all season, you'll just never have snow up there. But when you come up to use your camp, as soon as you light up the stove, all the snow, as soon as that metal roof gets warm from the inside, it will slick all that snow off. And metal roof in general, when the snow starts stacking up on it, eventually when it gets heavy enough, it'll slide down. So, you know, if you're not here all winter, you don't want the snow stacking up. If you have architectural shingles, it'll stack up and stack up. It might get too heavy and buckle the roof. So definitely make sure you put a metal roof if you're going to have heavy snow loads. Oh man, seat's way back. There you go. Alright, well, got everything unloaded from the car. 3.5 hour drive up here from where my family lives. So I'm going to relax for, I don't know, about an hour. I got a thermos full of hot water that I prepared before I left on my trip this morning. A Stanley thermos. Got this thing for $13.60 for free delivery on one of those lightning deals on Amazon. Pretty good. Water is still scalding hot after 3.5 hours. So, fix a cup of tea here. Shout out to all my subscribers from across the pond. This cup of tea's for you. Especially you, Chunky Prepper. You've been a great subscriber. Thanks, man. So I'm going to have a cup of tea. Try to think if there's anything else I need to get done before it starts getting too late. And then about an hour before dark, we're gonna head out into the woods. We'll grab the shotgun, load it up with some buckshot, and we're gonna go and head over to where that apple tree is, but we're gonna stay on the far side of the field of the apple tree, and then hopefully we'll see some deer. The neighbor who lives right across the street, he doesn't live up here full time, but he has cameras set up, satellite cameras. So he's been sending me all these pictures of deer going across his yard right at about dusk. So tonight we'll go and work the apple tree right here on my property, but tomorrow night we'll probably go and work his field because he doesn't mind if I go over there. So I probably do that. Get some hunting in. It's whitetail season, and I haven't really got to do much hunting at all this year. I did a couple days of grouse hunting, and we shot that grouse on opening day. But I've been down in the city editing videos, and you know, we don't have internet access up here, and I wanted to get that first season up so I could start getting some momentum behind this series here. So I'm excited to be back at camp because that city life is just not for me at all, and I basically just sit on a computer and stare at the computer all day and night when I'm down there. So I mean, I gained like 10 or 15 pounds just in the last 30 days. So it's nice to be up here, and I'm only going to be up here for a couple days, and then I have to go back for the holiday. But then we're probably going to come back out here in December and try to spend as much time as we can with the wood that we have. And if I have to, I found a guy up here that I can buy loads of wood from. So for like $500 I can have him bring a truck in, and he'll dump like two and a half cords of wood here. So if that's what we have to do, we have to do. Tragedy though, the only tea I have with me is non-caffeinated. This is some apple spice and hibiscus. I like that stuff a lot, but I usually mix it with some English breakfast or some black tea of some kind. But when I stopped at the store on my way up, I forgot to get tea. So that kind of sucks. But I have some instant coffee somewhere here in the cabin, so I'll just have to dig that out if I want a little jolt. Woo, smells good. Smells spicy. Alright, well, I'll bring you guys back after I'm all settled in and getting ready to go out for a hunt. Well, this solar light's working out pretty good so far. We'll see how well it does. This is the one that we just decided to keep the solar panel in the window instead of putting it outside. So during the winter it doesn't get any snow, and you know, it gets some sort of light, but I don't know, I'm guessing it doesn't get more than an hour, if even that, of straight sunlight. At this time of year it probably doesn't even get hardly any direct sunlight, so we'll see how well that works. There's no way to charge those, you know, with a battery pack or anything to like get them back up to where they need to be. So I don't know, if it dies, I need to figure out, I need to go stick it out in the sunlight so it can charge up, and then I got to put it away for the winter if it's not gonna work like that. But it's working right now, so tonight we'll have some light in here. This one is on the outside, so I have to go and check to see if it's covered in snow. I forgot to look, but this one's still working. So we'll see if it has snow on it or if the snow's been staying off of it. I don't know. It's not really at that much of an angle. And we'll see if the snow on the roof too is gonna rip it down, because there's a chance that it's in a spot where the snow coming off of the roof is gonna rip it down. I was planning on being here for the first couple snows, so I'm lucky I got here right after pretty much the second big snow. But this light's working so far, getting all the stuff put together for hunting tonight. But solar lamps still working. We'll see. We might have to put them away for the winter though. Figures I'm out here clearing off this stack before I go hunting, because it was kind of blown up and it wasn't covering everything. That half of the roof just fell and scared the crap out of me. But I was far enough back I wouldn't have gotten hit by it. But yeah, it can be dangerous when you got metal roofs too. This is gonna give any moment, but I don't have the memory for this device to set up a time lapse or set up something so I can watch and wait for it to go. It's all melting. It's warm in that cabin. I'm only just past the cabin, and there's a trail here. You know, the big footprints of mine, but the trail right there, and all those tracks are filled with snow, so I couldn't tell. But this is a lynx or a bobcat. But that's pretty big. It's probably a lynx. Pretty big stride too. So that's probably a lynx. So that's pretty cool. Been going up the trail right here, out up the cabin. So I got all my colors on. Now heading out in the woods. Gonna just do the loop, you know, just follow all the trails I made this year. And see what's out there. See if there's any big deer. It's buck only. They have to have horns and everything, or antlers, and yeah, if it's buck only up here. So, you know, if you had a doe permit, then you might go for something a little bit younger, and just take a younger doe maybe, because that'd be really good meat. But when it's buck only, we're pretty much out here looking for a really big buck, with a full rack and possibly some gnarl rack even. So, you know, kind of marking that he's pretty old too, you know. That would be like the prime deer for us to get out here right now. So, gotta be quiet. We're gonna go up this trail here. Alright, we came across another track. It's passing these other tracks. The deeper track that's on the right, that is the lynx. But the one that's coming up next to it here, I don't know if you can see that, that's a raccoon. We're not looking for raccoons or lynx. Lynx are endangered. Lynx are endangered and you're not allowed to hunt them here, actually. You can hunt bobcats, but I think it's only trapping only. Alright, we got to this stick where things have to jump over it, and I can see there's it's that lynx, but it's also some deer tracks. And then some snowshoe hare right there. That's what that one is. So there's a lot of animals taking this trail we made. Yeah, if you make the trail, they will come. Well, it's almost time that I need to be getting out of the woods legally, or at least unload the shotgun. So I think we're gonna just take a walk around the trail system and go and check on where the canvas tent is and the shed and stuff is. Haven't been over there yet. Well, made it up the trail that we hauled water up all summer. There's the outhouse number 1, first outhouse. And the garden's right behind it. So let's go see how that's looking. There it is. We'll take a better look at it tomorrow in the daylight. But that snow is going to do some good things for the hugelkultur side. It'll break all that stuff down and drain a lot of nutrients out of it and put it in the soil underneath. So it's nice to get a winter on that. Shed looks untouched. It's a cold, sad scene at the canvas tent platform. It's a lot cooler with a canvas tent on it. The sun's setting. I guess we could stand on the platform for that. It's always the best spot. Oh, there goes a partridge. We just jumped a partridge climbing up here. Oh, I see where he landed. I don't know. I guess maybe I should go grab that guy. Oh man, all I have is number 7. I guess I could probably shoot him with that. Nice sunset. I think I still have 15 minutes of hunting though, so I'm gonna go see if I can find that partridge. Alright. Well, back from the hunt. I never found that grouse, but it's just too close to the end of hunting. You can only hunt up to about a half an hour after sunset. Sunset was at 3:57 today. It's pretty early up here right now. So I don't know, tomorrow I'll make sure I keep some ammo in my pocket for grouse hunting, because that's probably more likely than a deer. Unless we sit all day in one spot that the deers are traveling in, which I found a couple trails with some deer tracks, but yeah, I mean, a grouse is more likely, and I'd like to get something while I'm up here. Make it kind of a more fun trip, and it'd be nice to cook another grouse. I've only had that one. Make it a couple different ways and see how much I really like it. It was pretty good. I mean, so far actually, I'd say in my life that was the best wild food I've ever had as far as wild animal harvested from the woods. I really like deer meat and venison too, like the backstrap, but mainly, you know, if it's a buck and it's a young buck, it's gonna be really gamey and have a lot of gamey flavor, and that's not so good. But if you have like a backstrap from a 2-year-old doe, oh man, that's gonna be some of the best meat you've ever had. But I think the grouse might even be better than that. I don't know. I guess if you had some bacon and some tenderloin, deer tenderloin, that might be a little bit better. But the grouse is pretty good. It's just like chicken. I mean, it's just like chicken, but with kind of a tougher texture, kind of like a texture like pork chop almost. So it's super nice in here. It's not too warm and it's not too cold. It's not cold at all. It's really warm, especially after coming from outside. It feels perfect, but I gotta go out there and get a little bit more wood. I filled this blue container with snow. It's so dark in here because we don't have power. But I filled this blue container with snow and put it here next to the fire. Move you guys, sorry. Put you next to the fire, and then by morning that should be a whole bunch of camp water. So that's what we got to work with during the winter. But there's plenty of snow up here, usually, so shouldn't be running short on that. Solar light is providing enough light for me to hang out and chill. Pretty sweet, free power. Those lights were a pretty good investment, but it looks like it's not really enough light to film, so if I get to cooking something later, I'll bring you back maybe, but for now, I think I'm gonna call it and just relax and have a cup of tea, and I'm gonna cook something at some point, but I'm not sure what. I did get this big pork loin, so maybe I'll put that on. But I wanted to get some water together so I know I can clean dishes before I cook something like that. There's some sort of bug inside of this light. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a bug crawling around in there. Wonder what it is. Alright, well, I think I have enough water melted that I can wash my hands and wash dishes after this. That's a sick tenderloin. I'm gonna stick this in the frying pan. Actually, this frying pan, yeah, it's big enough. And then probably overcook it, but that's how I usually like it. And then after I cook this, go to bed pretty early. So I'm gonna wake up at like 4 in the morning and head out to a hunting spot, I guess, and hang out there. And then the walk back from the hunting spot, I should be able to go past some places where there'll be some grouse, and I'll be loaded up for those and get that on. That's the game plan, at least. barely fits on there. Yeah, the lighting sucks in here. That's one part of being off-grid, people. I need to get some camera gear with some real lighting stuff so when I'm filming you can at least see what's going on. So there's the pork chop, or the pork tenderloin. And I'm going to go get a fork so I can move that around a little bit and get it situated a little bit better, and I'll bring you back when it's all done. Alright, headlamp power. Yeah, it was going to take way too long to cook it like that. And the stove's probably too hot, it probably would have burnt or something. So I cut some steaks off of it, but I was thinking I have a whole bag of potatoes over there from this summer's harvest. They're still hard as a rock. So I don't know, I was thinking I could put this chunk and those potatoes in the stew pot and just leave it on the stove all night. Whoa, there goes all the snow off the roof. I don't know if you guys heard that. Sounded like a moose just ran into the side of the building. Anyways, I was thinking about putting that and the potatoes in there. I don't really have anything else, but maybe I have some seasoning somewhere I can put in there and make some stew, and then tomorrow I'll have stew in the morning and in the evening. Yeah, I might do that. I won't be able to eat all that tonight. Alright, most of those are almost done. There's one that isn't. And I put the rest of it in this pot with the potatoes. Sadly, a lot of the potatoes in that bag were actually going bad already. There were a couple hard ones on the top, the ones that were insulated from the outside, but all the ones that were sitting on the floor were frozen completely and mushy, and a bunch of them got bad. I was planning on getting here before it froze, but I ended up being downtown for a lot longer than I thought I was gonna. But I'll just keep this on the stove all night and let that boil, and that whole thing should break right apart and fall right apart. And if I can find some more spices, I'll put them in there. I don't know, I think the only thing I have is Montreal spice, but I'll go and get that and put that in there, and hopefully tomorrow it'll be a decent stew. And eat these suckers up tonight. Whoa. And then tomorrow morning, wake up early and get out in the woods. Alright, that soup is still on. That soup doesn't smell particularly good. I gave it a try, it's not that bad, but that Montreal seasoning didn't really spruce it up how I was hoping. But I woke up about 2 hours later than I wanted to. But it's about 6 in the morning, and I'm gonna head out there, see if there's any deer. I did hear a gunshot probably about a half a mile out this morning, so someone probably got a deer this morning or blasted a grouse. But we're gonna carry some shells for some grouse today, and I'm just gonna do the whole loop around the property this morning and go all the way out to where the ducks hang out, and yeah, do a loop around. Definitely find at least a grouse in that area. I know that for sure. I mean, I know an area on the property where there's always grouse, so we'll go over there and probably shoot one of those. And then we can eat a grouse this week, and we'll keep looking for deer. A lot of little critters running around. Red squirrels, and the blue jays are out. Oh, there's the well where we were getting water all summer. Just out here moving through the woods. Haven't seen anything, haven't seen any tracks. If you hear that, the snow is really crunchy. So we're probably not going to sneak up on a deer unless we sit somewhere for 3 or 4 hours. But I wanted to come down here and check out the well and see how it looks. It's not frozen around it because there's still water coming out of the hill that's probably much warmer than the snow is. But it looks good so far. That tank doesn't look like it's cracked or anything. So we'll see what happens with that. But I got a little bit longer to go on my loop, and then I'm going to go to the back of the property and I'll take the buckshot out and put some bird shot in here, because that's where the grouse usually are. But I don't know, I gotta find a place to sit. This afternoon I should probably go over to the neighbor's house and sit in front of his place. Last night at like 10 o'clock he sent me a picture of a huge buck over there, like right next to me, the next lot over. So if I want to get a deer, it's probably the best bet is to sit between my property and the tree line facing his field. And then I'll probably see something. But dealing with the deer out here is kind of a pain too. It's cold enough now that I can at least pack all the meat into the cooler, and I can hang the deer on a tree or on like a meat pole until I'm ready to deal with it. But I still don't have a freezer up here, so once I get a deer, I have to put it on the escape, then I have to bring it to a tagging station, tag it, then I have to bring it back here, hang it, and then butcher the whole thing and put it into a cooler and then haul it back down to southern Maine. And my dad has a freezer at his place that he wants to keep it all in. So if I get a deer, it's going to be a lot of work. But it would be nice to get a deer this year. It's been a long time since I've got one. But we'll definitely go get some grouse. Really nice. So quiet. It's like so quiet. Every once in a while the red squirrels will make some noise, but it's so quiet. It's not that cold, but my face is cold. Hard to talk. Alright, this is where I usually hunt the grouse. There's usually a lot of them through here. But there's a freaking deer highway going through here, and that's a buck from last night. That track right there. And that's an even bigger buck in front of it from last night. So these two guys are probably chasing something, but this leads to my neighbor's yard, so these are the tracks from last night that buck left on his way over to the neighbor's house. It's starting to snow a little bit. It wasn't supposed to start snowing until tomorrow, but it's starting to snow. Still only have the 18-inch barrel on my shotgun, and I would prefer to hunt grouse with the 28-inch barrel, but I only have a modified choke for that, and I don't want to shoot buckshot through the modified choke. I mean, some pages on the internet says that you can, but some of them say that it can damage a shotgun too, so I don't know. It's a lot easier to get a clean headshot on a grouse though with a 28-inch barrel, especially with that modified choke that keeps the pattern really tight. We're gonna follow these tracks down onto my neighbor's yard and see if we can bump into this deer, or at least get a grouse. Oh, Jesus. Alright, back at the camp. Pretty close to lunchtime. No grouse, but my feet got cold out there. I have a pair of wool socks on, but I have to wear two of them. It's not even that cold. It's only about 32 degrees right now. But yeah, after you've been out there for 3 or 4 hours, it gets cold. So I'm gonna eat some lunch, hang out for a couple hours, and then at about 1:30, 2 o'clock, I'm gonna just head straight from the cabin over to the neighbor's house. And I'll sit right on the line. I'll be on my side of I'll probably be sitting on my side of the line in the woods, looking at his field. All those deer tracks that are going on my trail that leads over towards his property All of those were from last night because it snowed the night before, so I can tell that they were from last night. And there were some big buck tracks there, so there's definitely some bucks still moving through here. I hear a lot of guys have gotten their deer already. The guy who plows the road here, he said he got his deer. He lives 2 towns over, but he got his deer in this town when he was plowing the road 2 days ago. He said that he saw the deer and just hopped out of his truck, I guess. Loaded up the rifle and got a shot at it. Sounds like he got kind of a small one. He said it was a crotch horn, which I think that means that there's only 2 little horns on it. It's only like a 2-pointer. So it depends. I mean, I don't think that's really the best deer to be getting. Those young bucks, especially when it's still the rutting season, those young bucks are pretty gamey. So, I mean, it depends. I guess some guys might like that gamey taste, but I personally don't like that gamey taste. And I've had bucks before that were so gamey that I couldn't even really eat it. Like, you had to make a stew or something with it because I really couldn't even eat it. But yeah, I'm gonna be hanging out. Got the stove fired up, warm this cabin up real quick, and still got that pot of stew on there, but it's not looking so great. The chunk of meat in there looks really good, but I probably should have had some better spices for that thing. That Montreal spice I put in there it's really good on steak. It's really good on all the meat that I've ever had it on, but it didn't really make that taste very good. And the only pot that I have to make water in, I'm cooking the stew in, which I didn't think about that when I started that last night. There's still half a thermos of water, and this stuff is over 24 hours that it's been in here, but it's still warm. It's not hot by any means, but it's warm enough I think I can make some instant coffee with it. So that's what I'm gonna do. Make some instant coffee and maybe put some cocoa in there. Make it kind of chocolatey. Sit back and enjoy that and just chill out for a little while and warm up my feet. And then once my feet are warm, probably put another layer on them and then suit up and then go and hang out at the field. Daylight is, it's only like 10 hours of daylight right now. So if you do 4 hours in the morning and 4 hours in the afternoon, you only have 2 hours in between to eat lunch and do stuff like that. Not much daylight up here right now. It's pretty crazy. The woods are like silent too. Every once in a while you hear a red squirrel, but other than that, it's like so quiet out there. It's like eerie quiet. But it's pretty nice, relaxing up here. I can hear the neighbor that's like half a mile down the road. He must be up here hunting, but he's got a dog. I don't know, it's some kind of bird dog, but it barks quite a bit. I can't hear it in the cabin. The cabin's so insulated, I don't hear anything that's going on out there unless the windows are open. But when I'm out there, I can hear it going down there, and I can hear him cutting wood with a chainsaw too. He must not have wood put together for the winter. He must come up and cut all the wood that he's going to use for his weekend every time he comes. But that's what I should be doing. I think if I'm going to come and hang out here in December for a little while, my goal will be to keep that wood stack out there, and then every day or two go and cut enough wood and pile it on the sled and drag it back, and try not to touch that wood pile out there, just so I guarantee there's always some wood here at camp. And I shouldn't have to buy wood. I'm not going to be here all winter, so I shouldn't have to buy wood this winter. The stove too, being in the cabin and having it so insulated, I'm just keeping a really small fire in there, and I can let it burn all the way down and it takes like 5 or 6 hours before this cabin starts cooling down, so that's pretty cool. I've only used like a small little handful of wood. I mean, it was only one bundle of wood that I could carry that I ended up using last night, so that's pretty good. I mean, a sled full of wood is probably 4 days or 5 days worth of wood, so if every 4 days you go out and then collect 4 days of wood and bring it back, I have enough dead standing on the property that I could do that all winter. But eventually the snow's going to start coming down here, and when it does, it's going to get deep, too deep to haul wood in. Last year they had like 8 feet of standing snow here at one point, so that's a lot. That's like halfway up these windows in the cabin. So yeah, if I get that much wood, that much snow too, I don't know. I might have to come up and clear the cabin, because if it stacks that high and then all the snow falls off of the roof, it'll cover these windows completely. And it might get to the point where it's covering this whole building. I don't know, it's a pretty small building. So either way, if there's a lot of snow up here, I'm going to have to come up here and take it off the building. If I think it's getting that bad, I can have the neighbor down the road check on it every once in a while and tell me if I need to come up. But January and February, I'm not planning on being up here much. And then at the end of February, I'll start all my gardening stuff indoors this year. And then by like middle of March, end of March, I'll come up here and be in the cabin and try to get some of those plants, maybe get the plants in the greenhouse and run a heater for a month, or set up something here, maybe right here, set up something right here at this table so I can keep some lights on some plants, because I want to get some of the plants going ahead of time. So as soon as it's nice, you know, in mid-April, as soon as it's nice enough that I can put stuff in the greenhouse, I want to put stuff out there and get stuff going. But yeah, the season's short, and the days are really short right now, so northern Maine, it's pretty rough, pretty hardcore environment up here. Beautiful out there though. A little bit of snow. Snow's so crunchy though, sneaking up on a deer isn't going to happen. I need to get out and sitting in a spot, and I need to make sure I have enough socks on and that I'm dressed warm enough that I can sit in one spot for 4 hours. So right now it's only 32 degrees. It's warm enough I can do that. Once it drops down to like 0 degrees, and there's a couple weeks in February and January, it can get down to -20, and I mean, I think it's been down to -40 here before, so that's like about as extreme as it gets, but that's really cold. I can't deal with that. -40, I can't be outside when it's that cold. I have equipment to go out in that kind of a temperature, but I hate that. So, I'm going to enjoy the weather while it's here, and then January and February I'll probably be working or something down in the city. Alright, well, I'm going to finish eating here and warming up. So by noon the next day, we started this at like 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon. That's what we have for water in there. And we did fill that with snow and then keep on adding snow until there was 3 gallons in there. So there's about 3 gallons there, and there's about 5 gallons, maybe 4.5 gallons in there right now. And it still has ice in it, so that stuff's still melting. It's pretty close to the stove too, so you see how long it takes. But, you know, once I had like a good bay of water in there, you just add snow to it and it melts instantly. And it heats up really quick because it's on there. So I'm going to do the dishes. And I don't know, probably get a couple shovelfuls of snow and add it to this, because we really want it to that first lip, which is about 7 gallons. And 7 gallons will be enough to get us through the next 4 days. Alright, this is what we have going from last night. The potatoes and They're soft, but they're not too soft. I figured they would have boiled to pieces by now. But I let the stove kind of get low going, so it probably wasn't really roaring. But there's the pork chunk right there. And it's pretty soft, but it's not like just falling apart super easy. Could probably let it go for a little while longer, but I need to get this pot back. I can't boil water without. Man, this pipe here is smoking off a little bit still. I can definitely smell it. Well, here's a look at that stew we started last night. The potatoes are still pretty put together. They're not too mushy. And the pork chunk here is falling apart, but not like super easy, but it's falling apart. I don't know, probably pretty good at this stage. But I'm probably gonna just eat this for lunch and get this pot cleaned out. I need to get this pot back so I can start boiling water. I probably shouldn't have done this in the first place without having a bunch of water boiled. I don't know what I was thinking. Stuff's definitely super tender. That Montreal spice has a little bit of a kick to it, that's for sure. Pretty delicious. Good lunch. So this is what washing dishes in the winter cabin looks like. This water was so hot I couldn't even use it, so I had to put a couple chunks of ice in there. Now it's perfect temperature, nice and warm. So there's no running water here, but you can still do dishes with warm water. So that's why I like this stove. Is, you know, I have that bigger stove that's cast iron that would probably distribute heat better, but this cabin's so small I don't need it. And having this faucet that's like hot water, running hot water, is amazing. So probably stick with this stove for the rest of the winter. But I gotta finish the rest of these dishes up here. Alright, dishes are done. Alright, I'm back in the woods and I'm following the trail where I saw all the deer tracks meet up at. So there's like 4 or 5 different deer tracks from last night, and they all meet up and cross this one trail. So I'm going to go to the highest point of this trail, and I'm just going to sit in a bunch of spruce trees and just try to stay there for the next 2 or 3 hours. This should be the trail that they're using to get to the field. Well, there's only about 15 minutes left of hunting, and I want to hunt grouse on the walk back. So I'm probably going to have to leave this spot soon. My face is freezing cold. I can hear some grouse in the bush over here though, so hopefully I can jump those on my way past. I know the deer are going through here. But it's probably a little later at night than this. I'll stay here for a couple more minutes and then I'm gonna walk back, try to do some grouse hunting. Oh man, that light's bright. Well, it's about 2 minutes until it's the end of hunting, and I heard something coming through the woods, and it crossed the road about 100 yards ahead of me, but it was too dark, I couldn't see. It was a deer, but I couldn't see if it had antlers, or I couldn't see it well enough. So it's too close to the end of the day here anyways. I'm heading back to camp. I'm freezing. Alright, I don't know. This video probably looks like crap. That light is killing my eyes. But I'm back at the cabin. This is solar light that's above me hasn't been getting enough juice. I went to turn it on. It didn't want to turn on, so probably put it out in the sun tomorrow and let that battery charge up enough that it can be stored, and then I'm gonna have to store that for the winter and try not to use that. But maybe I'll try to find a light that I can charge off of the big battery, because I'm still charging that, and I can charge that in the car if I have to, or I can hook up the big solar panel on a sunny day and charge that up. But right now I've been going home, and I can charge everything when I'm at home, and then that gives me about a week's worth of power out here. I guess if I had to, I could ask one of the neighbors if I could throw them some dollars to charge my battery pack there too if I had to. But I gotta find something else. I guess I have that little lantern I've been using, and I have rechargeable batteries for that, so I'll just have to keep charging those. Oh man, it was so cold out there. Warm now. So I'm gonna cook some food and just relax, but it's gonna be pretty dark in here tonight, so I don't know, probably won't do too much filming. Tomorrow morning though, wake up early and go out hunting, and then at about 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock in the afternoon tomorrow, it's gonna start raining. It was supposed to snow, but it says rain now, so we'll see. If it comes down as snow, then I'll probably still be out hunting, but if it comes down as rain, then I don't know, I'll probably go visit the neighbors and hang out with them and just chill around town and probably stay out of the woods. If it's going to be raining and this cold, I don't want to be out in the woods. So we'll see what happens. Out here until Sunday, and then Sunday I got to go back because Thanksgiving is next week, so I want to be back for that. So just chilling out in the woods, having a good time, getting some hunting in. And oh yeah, when I was walking back from that spot I sat in, I did see a deer. I could hear it coming, so I just stayed still and sat there. And then the deer went and crossed the road right in front of me, about 100 yards in front of me, but it was already so dark. I probably had 3 or 4 minutes left of legal hunting time, but it was so dark I couldn't see if there was antlers on it. So I just watched it go and then head back home. Yeah, so gonna be hanging out. There's not much to do. It's pretty dark in here, and I guess I gotta get that lantern going and I don't know, just chill out and hang out and try to go to bed early tonight. Well, early in the morning, having a coffee. Not that early in the morning. I went to wake up at 6 o'clock because you can start hunting at 6:15, so I was going to head out there at about 6. Well, I was going to get up at 5:30 and head out at 6. But it was raining, pouring rain this morning. But the rain has stopped, and it doesn't look like it's so cold that it froze straight over, so snow might actually be a little bit quieter today, now that it's kind of sloshy. But I'm going to put some boots on, some high boots, because I'm going to try to hike way out into the woods here and try to follow where that buck came out. I think I know where he's going during the day. But anyways, I'm likely, during the day, I'm probably just going to carry my bird barrel and bird shot in the shotgun and look for some grouse. I'll probably be bummed if I come across a deer. But if I have to, I could put a buckshot through the bird barrel. But it says online that you shouldn't shoot buckshot through an improved choke, which is what I got in there right now. And I didn't stop at Cabela's. If I had stopped at Cabela's, I could have gotten a full choke to go in the end of that bird barrel, and then it would have been fine. But I don't know, there's a lot of mixed reviews online. Some people say you can shoot buckshot through it, some people say you can't. So I'll bring a couple buckshot with me just in case I see some giant trophy deer out there. But I'm going pretty far out in the woods to see where he's hanging out, and it would be pretty horrible slog to haul him back anyways through that. So we're gonna just bring the number 6 shot out with the bird barrel and look for some grouse. And while we're doing that, we're gonna track this deer out to where he's hanging out during the day and see where he's at. I'm pretty sure he's hanging out right between my line and the wildlife management line. As he knows that, that wildlife management area is not traveled very heavily, so he knows if he hides over there during the day, a hunter's not likely to make it out to him. But let's get out in the woods. Alright, I'm heading out here on day 3 of hunting. Yeah, you can't see that, but I decided to stick with the cylinder bore. Oh my god. Sorry about that. I decided to stick with a cylinder bore on my shotgun. I was gonna just bring the bird barrel, but right when I was leaving, the neighbors sent me a picture of that huge buck next door, and it was from 6 o'clock this morning. If I just went out in the rain, I would have caught that guy. I know I would have. So I figured I should bring the other barrel, and when I walk past the platform, I get internet service there, so I'm gonna get on the internet service a little bit and try to read a little bit more about what kind of cylinder choke is on my other barrel, because it might not be a full improved. It kind of looks like it might just be a cylinder, but I thought it came with an improved choke, but I don't know. I'm gonna check that, because if not, then I should be using the much longer barrel. But yeah, I don't want to mess up my equipment, so I'm heading out. These tracks are new from this morning, right by the cabin. Those are turkey tracks. Haven't seen a turkey on my property yet. I've seen them around my property, but not on my property. So a turkey went by camp last night, somewhere in there. Thanksgiving's in a couple days. Turkey, you can hunt male turkeys right now, but I'm not hunting turkeys today. Hopefully we get a grouse and at least see a deer. Fingers crossed. Deer track from last night going right over my track. I don't know if you can see that. That is a spruce grouse. Which is illegal to hunt, and you can see why. I'm very close to it, and I'm talking next to it. It does not even care. Oh, there she goes. Nope. This is why you have to identify what you're shooting at, because this is a spruce grouse, which is illegal. It's an endangered species here in Maine. Beautiful animal. It's the first time I've ever seen one. It will literally just wait for me to hit it with something. Super beautiful little bird. Fat little sucker. But it's much darker black. It's more of a black color. So that's how you know. The rough grouse that we're looking for is more of a brown color. And as long as you get a good look at it, it's pretty easy to determine which is which. This thing also has a bright red eye. I'm not sure what the other eye color is, but I don't think it's red. It must not fly very fast because it's trying to just stay still. It's crazy. You can basically walk up and grab this thing. Super beautiful specimen. See you later, buddy. So that is the endangered spruce grouse. Really exciting to see one. I've never seen one ever before in my life. All my years in the woods, never seen one. But that's why you can't hunt them, because it's not even a hunt. Like, when you see them, you can literally just walk right up to them, hit them with a stick. They still hunt them in Canada, so if we were in Canada, we could have shot that or thrown a stick at it. But here in Maine, we're protecting that animal because they were pretty much hunted to extinction at one point. But I'm going to be quiet and head back in the woods. I'm pretty sure. I thought I heard something big in that direction. It's probably already taking off, but that spruce grouse was too cool to let up. Alright, just went in for lunch. And I talked to my dad. The improved cylinder is okay for buckshot, so we're gonna do that. Just no slugs. So, that was what I was confused about. But I just had lunch, and it started raining while I was eating. But there's 3 hours left, and it's gonna snow really bad on Sunday, which I was supposed to be leaving and driving down home on Sunday to get home for the holiday. So I'm probably gonna have to leave tomorrow afternoon, which means tonight's the last hunt that I'm gonna get at night, and then tomorrow morning, and then after that I'll be done. And when I get back up here in December, deer season will be over. So we're gonna go get out into that spot, and we're gonna sit out there until dark tonight. It does suck that it's raining, but that's the way it goes sometimes. And see if we can get this big buck. The neighbor sent me a picture of him this morning. It was just huge. I'll put a picture in right here so you can see. But it was a nice buck. So I'm gonna get out to the spot and be quiet and hang out there. I could see there was a whole deer highway going, and they were right over my tracks last night. So like at least 3 or 4 doe and 3 bucks went through there yesterday after I was hunting there. So hopefully we can just hopefully we can be right in their path when they come out to the field tonight. Though the rain does kind of change their patterns. Wish me luck. Well, out here in the rain, it's raining pretty good. But I saw a grouse up in the tree, so I went to go get closer to it, and it went and it flew, and I took a shot at it and I missed it, and then I couldn't find it again. So that sucks. Probably not gonna get a deer out here now. That figures. That probably wasn't worth it. If I had just sat here for a couple more hours, I probably would have seen a deer over here. But I thought, you know, if I got that grouse, I'd at least have some meat tonight. But that didn't happen, so. I'm gonna go move to a different spot that's a little further away from this. Maybe I'll have some chance there. He's in there somewhere. Just jumped a male grouse, but these things are like magicians. They blend in so well that basically if you don't follow them with your eyes to wherever they're going, you're gonna have a hard time finding them. He's in these trees somewhere here. I just wanted to get a good look at him. I don't have any more bird shot on me anyways. I only brought 2 rounds, and I expended those trying to shoot one on the wing. Even though I've never hit one on the wing, I probably should have just stayed there and hunted for deer and not fucked with it. Excuse my language. But yeah, I wanted to get a look at this guy at least. Well, it's just raining. Probably gonna go in early today. Alright, I don't know if you guys can see me. Now you can. Oh, Jesus. These lights shining in my eye all the time. Well, it's a real disappointment that I didn't hit that grouse today. I took one shot at it while it was flying and totally missed it. but it was like probably about 50 yards or yeah, about 50 yards away from me, and at the very top of about 60 or 70 foot tree. And I don't know, I should have hit it, but I don't know what happened. I shot right above it. I could see the branches right above it go, and I only brought 2 bird shot out with me. I should have brought a whole pocket full probably, but I was out there hunting deer, so I wasn't really that worried about it, and I'm only going to bring a couple. But that was an epic fail. It was pretty cool seeing that spruce grouse earlier in the day. That was my first time ever seeing one of those. I'm glad I got it on camera, so that was pretty cool. But I was supposed to be staying here another 2 days to Sunday, but I guess the storm that was going to come on Monday has been pushed up, and it's going to come on Sunday now. And I don't want to get stuck driving in that, so probably go out for a hunt tomorrow early in the morning, and then pack up all the gear and then head back down to town. Hang out for the holidays, and then after Thanksgiving's over, hopefully come back out here and spend most of December out here. I have enough wood to get through December. This cabin heats so easily. I haven't even started burning the wood stack that we made. I've just been burning all the little scrap pieces of wood that we cut. Basically all the alders that we cut down to free up this cabin site, I cut up into little pieces, and I've just been burning that, and that's been keeping it plenty warm enough. This cabin's so small and so well insulated that I hardly have to burn any wood in here. But I'm gonna make dinner and chill out, and as you can see, it's pitch dark in here. The only light I have is my headlamp and a candle. Actually, I gotta light that candle. But that's pretty much it for today. So not much else to film. I'm just gonna be sitting here, probably do some reading or something, and then tomorrow will be a new day. So catch you guys tomorrow when we're packing up and getting ready to get out of here. So this is what I use to open cans. We're having the other half of that pack of brats tonight, and another can of beans. This combo here is delicious, but it's also practical. These cans of beans are great, and they never go bad, and the sausage will stay in the cooler a lot better. I mean, it's freezing cold now, you can just stick it outside. But for you guys that don't know how to use this, you hook the hook on the outside, and then just work your way. It's like a little waddle, and you'll be gripping with the hook this other side that's giving you the leverage. So this is the one that's on my wingman. And it's not even that sharp. It doesn't really even need to be that sharp. So I don't know. The 11-min wingman, you can definitely open cans with easily. Alright, well, just finished packing everything up for the morning. Got everything sorted out and loaded into the car. I went out this morning for a quick hunt, but I don't know, didn't really see anything, and I want to get on the road before it gets too late in the afternoon. That way I'm not driving in the dark, and at some point here it's going to start snowing sometime tonight. So our trip got cut a day short because of the snow, but the Thanksgiving holiday's in 3 days, so I don't want to get snowed in up here and get stuck here and not be able to go down and hang out with my family for the day. Ah, man, freezing cold out here. I don't know, probably was like 20 degrees when I woke up this morning. Well, I think I got everything put away, got everything tightened up, and got firewood all set up for when we get back next time. So I guess everything's done. Oh yeah, I was gonna show you that little drill bit for making kindling, but we'll have to look at that when we come back. We'll come back at the 1st of December, and we're probably gonna be out here most of December, so we'll take a look at it in that video. This video is more of just a hunting video and, you know, get up to the camp while it was still deer season. Also wanted to add another episode to the fall season, to season 3, because there's only going to be 1 or 2 episodes in that season. Well, it's pretty awesome having this camp all set up and ready for me to come to whenever I want. And that stove kept this place blazing. At night it was too hot. You know, if you stoked the stove, you would wake up sweating really bad. So at night, I was basically just stoking it once, letting the stove die all the way down, and then not putting any more wood in until about 5 in the morning, and letting the cabin cool down to about 40 degrees. But yeah, it was a fun trip. No deer, but that's how it goes most of the time. And I still don't even have a freezer here anyway, so getting a deer would have been a pretty big hassle. I would have had to butcher the whole thing here, put it into coolers, and then drive it down 3 hours south. So next year though, we'll be ready. Next year we're gonna have everything set up to be here full time in the winter, so when deer season comes next year, we're gonna need a deer. Well, thanks for joining me on another episode of the Off-Grid Living Project, and I will see you guys on the next one.